Discord Vol says just use a grenade. Ah, yes. I just routinely carry around heavy munitions for fun.
Okay, well, shall we hear why I'm drinking Bud Light today? Or, well, Bud Light.
It's definitely totally Bud Light.
Definitely.
Trust us. Trust us. But yes, we should. Oh boy, it's Kid Rock.
Okay, so the main reason I wanted to cover specifically the Kid Rock version of this little temper tantrum is so that I can share the knowledge with everybody that I have in my head for some reason that I don't want in my head, but it's there, so I'm going to make sure it goes into other people's heads, because if I have to live with it, you have to live with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Kid Rock, the main thing I know him from, I don't know any of his music. I might recognize the song or two if I heard it, but like I've never listened to him. I don't know anything about the guy, except that he is in a sex tape with Scott Stapp of Creed.
What?
That is not a joke. That is 100% true. I do not recommend going to watch the sex tape, not because of anything particularly bad, just because like one of the women involved sued the distribution company that was selling it because she did not give permission to be in it or whatever. So it's like, I don't recommend watching it because watching revenge porn is not good. So like there's people that did not consent to be watched in that scenario. So that's why I don't recommend watching it. But I have seen it.
It has nothing to do with Chris Rock's baby dong.
Chris Rock?
Or Kid Rock. Why did I say Chris Rock?
I don't know.
Kid Rock's baby dong.
No, so I did see it. You don't really see much of it. I don't remember details really. I remember it being underwhelming. But yeah, no, Kid Rock and Scott Stapp of Creed. It was in like 1999 or something. They were in a sex tape together. With arms wide open.
Well, said God's Kid Rock is an idiot, and I used to like his music. I know, like, maybe it's just being from the American South, but like I know a lot of people who just unwarrantedly love his music, and then when they hear his political stuff, they just don't blink at it, and I'm just like, what? Do you not hear the lyrics? Do you not hear the dumb shit he's saying? This is a dude who sings about not getting vaccinated and shit.
Buff Light from KC, who's had one too many Buff Lights.
You know, his music nowadays is just all political bent, and not like Rage Against the Machine political bent. It's just like, well, I don't like Obama.
Rage Against the Machine has a guy on their team that has like a PhD in political science, so like, it's going to be a bit higher quality than Kid Rock. Bit. Bowita ba da bang da dang diggy diggy. Is that one of his songs? Okay.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today.
Grandpa's frisky. That's why I talk about his sex tape.
Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
You know what's great? You know what the greatest thing about this is? You can tell he's got another person who's firing at it off camera with like a Dragonfire shotgun. And even then, he still couldn't get all of the fucking Bud Light off the table. Somehow, with assistance, this man could not knock down all of the beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Why the echo? Is the echo on Kid Rock's video?
Discord Vol says just use a grenade. Ah, yes. I just routinely carry around heavy munitions for fun.
Well, also, I don't know anything about guns or shooting or anything like that, but apparently some people were saying that like shooting at water is like a terrible thing because that's like got some huge ricochet potential.
Well, just in general, if you're firing at anything, the ideal is to fire at a hill. That's what you want to do whenever you're messing with any kind of munitions, because when you're firing at a hill, the dirt and clay will just absorb the bullet. It'll just stop it. It doesn't ricochet into anything. It's fine. The rules for using a gun out in the open are: don't shoot up, don't shoot into the tree line, and if you're going to shoot down, don't shoot down into water, because you have no idea if the bullet's going to hit a pebble or anything that's like a big stone, because that's what it'll ricochet into. If it hits just the clay, then it's fine. But you don't know what it's going to hit because you can't see into the water. So you shoot into a hill. That's what we do here, because like where I live, we've got a ton of hills we can shoot into. It's Georgia, so it's kind of just comes with the territory. But that's just kind of gun safety 101. If you don't know where the bullet's going to go, then you don't pull the fucking trigger.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like someone who cares about gun safety 101 probably doesn't have a fully automatic gun to begin with, because like that's another thing. Like, I don't know jack squat about guns, but apparently that's a fully automatic gun that's really difficult to get a permit for, and actually is one of the guns that gun control is being used on. So like, it's not impossible to put limits on guns. So like, I don't understand why you can require permits and registration and everything for automatic guns, but you can't for non-automatic guns.
Yeah, a lot of people will. So one of the arguments that you run into with that is that a lot of guns that look scary and tactical are functionally, like their internals are no different than a standard hunting rifle. Like there's a gun that looks like a Kalashnikov might actually just functionally internally be no different than like a single shot 22, which doesn't do a whole lot of anything outside of letting you maybe take down a deer or two, but you don't go deer hunting with a 22 usually. But again, like that's for people who care about guns.
Yeah. So Lek is Cool says, do they really think they're sticking it to the brand by doing this? It's like, yeah.
Do you remember Keurig? They did this with Keurig too.
They did this with Keurig. They did this with Nike. They did this with Gillette. They did this with all sorts of companies. They'll like, I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, to find out now that there weren't companies that had marketing executives that are specifically saying we need to do something pro-LGBTQ that is specifically designed to piss off conservatives, because then we get a free viral marketing campaign out of the deal.
Yep.
So like Bud Light saw them freaking out about what's her name, Dylan
Mulvaney.
Yeah, Dylan Mulvaney almost kissing Drew Barrymore for that stupid TikTok thing, and they were like, hey, if we hire Dylan Mulvaney to be our spokesperson, then yeah, a bunch of conservatives will buy our shit and then destroy it on camera and give us a free viral marketing campaign.
Which will also increase the sales in just there's going to be a sales spike.
Yes.
As soon as that happens too, because people are going to be buying the Bud Light for the purpose of doing this virtue signal shit.
One of the videos that I retweeted today was a guy that, like, as he's throwing it out, he's talking about how, like, I don't like Bud Light because they're doing virtue signaling. It's like, you are recording a video of yourself throwing out your Bud Light to signal to people that share your virtues that you are against virtue signaling. Do you not see it?
This is the fun cycle of rainbow capitalism. Like, on the one hand, no, it doesn't really matter that a large brand is using trans people or gay people or any minority group to push their brand. Like, it doesn't change a whole lot in the status quo. But what it does do is it does create scenarios like this, where the people who constantly yell at people on the left and call them snowflakes get to show exactly how snowflakey they are. And again, like you said, it's free marketing. Like, you can do a standard advertisement at the Super Bowl or something, and that will cost you, a certain amount of money, and then you'll get a certain amount of return for it. But viral marketing, by and large, has a much higher return on investment. This is just free viral marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yeah, so producer James is saying like they partnered with someone who is extremely visible right now. Like they specifically timed it such that they were looking for the big reaction. If they actually wanted to support the community, they could like donate or lobby or, you know, do any number of other things.
But it is marketing is the core of what they do. Now,
But
there's a
what's interesting though is that like the conservatives are often the people talking about how like anytime something happens that the libs don't like, it's like, oh, suck it up, the free market decide, like that's the people voted with their wallets and the free market decided that that's what the people wanted. But then when the same thing happens with anything LGBTQ, it's like the free market has determined that when they are pro-LGBTQ, they get more money than if they are anti-LGBTQ. And then everybody's like, oh, what's society coming to? This is we need to regulate it out of existence. And like, suddenly regulation's okay when it's stuff you don't like?
This is... So, and this happens on both sides of the coin, because like with Hogwarts Legacy, we had this same kind of thing happen where like the Backlash created its own marketing campaign, and it's with both of these things, it's probably impossible to tell what the actual end result is in sales figures, like compared to what it would have been if they went with a bog standard campaign.
Yeah,
but maybe one day people will realize that doing the marketing for the people that you don't like is not a good strategy. Maybe one day the human condition will realize this. That day's not today.
Maybe. At this point, he just says "F you" to Bud Light. We don't need to see that, but let's skip to the next video. This next one is fun. I haven't watched the whole thing, so I don't know if it gets better or worse. I will